Hello, and welcome to Exposed News Outlet, where we shed light on topics that matter most. I'm your host, Andrea. Today, we're exploring the current state of affairs and Trump's proclaimed golden era, which fell flat on its face. As we navigate the complexities of our world, it's essential to stay informed and engaged. By subscribing to our channel, enabling notifications, and sharing our content, you're supporting our mission to provide thought-provoking insights and inspire positive change. Thank you for being part of our community. Independent truth-telling isn't easy, especially as a transgender journalist. I'm dedicated to bringing you unbiased reports, but I need your help. Support my GoFundMe fundraiser to upgrade my equipment and resources, software. Every donation fuels my mission to amplify marginalized voices. Let's shine a light on truth together. I'll leave my link in the description box below. Thank you. And now let's get to the news. The current situation with the constitutional crisis we face involve multiple concerns about the Trump administration's actions and their potential impact on various aspects of American life. Let's break it down. Watch this clip.
The golden age of America begins right now.
4 to 6 weeks later.
So markets crash over 700 points today after a bad inflation report, more tariff confusion. Oh, and by the way, Republicans really going to raise taxes? That could have done it.
Many people are saying, wow, that's outrageous. I really feel for these federal employees thrown out on the street. But I want you to think about this. If Musk can do this to federal employees, some of whom are in unions, some of whom work for years, what do you think he's going to be doing when artificial intelligence and robotics comes for your job? Guess what? The job you have today ain't going to be here in 10 or 15 years. And you think Musk and his friends are saying, oh my goodness, how do we protect American workers from the explosion in technology that we're seeing? They don't give a damn about you. If this is what they could do to federal employees, think about what they could do to people in the private sector. So bottom line there is I am not a Luddite. I think technology has many positive things to say. But we have got to understand that new technology, AI, robotics, has got to work for working people, not just for the billionaires and Mr. Musk.
Mrs. Bush, what do you think of Donald Trump?
I don't even think about him. I'm sick of him. That's very strong. He sort of makes faces and says insulting things. I mean, he's said terrible things about women, terrible things about military. I don't understand why people are for him. I'm a woman. I'm not crazy about what he says about women. I don't know how women can vote for someone who said what he said about Megyn Kelly. Don't you get in his firing line.
I mean, I don't think a president would ever have shouted profanities in a speech in front of thousands of people with kids in the crowd.
Who did that?
Your buddy. He does it all the time. I mean, that's different because our...
He's like a comedian or like a showman or something.
Donald
He's not,
Trump.
Yes. And it's just the whole thing is not working with Congress, not working with... That's the way things get done in this country. And money doesn't buy everything. It's accomplishments and what you're doing and giving.
Key issues: ICE raids and due process. There have been reports of ICE raids and deportations, with some individuals being removed without due process. Courts have intervened in some cases, blocking removals and ordering the return of individuals deported without proper procedures. For example, the case of Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, who was deported to El Salvador despite having a well-grounded fear of persecution, highlights the complexities of potential human rights issues surrounding these actions. Constitutional crisis. The current situation is a constitutional crisis. as the administration's actions are perceived of violating the Constitution and exceeding their authority. Trump's business activities. Donald Trump has faced criticism for his business dealings, including hosting high-end events like golf tournaments during a stock market crash, public insider trading, and critics argue that these events, which charge significant fees, upwards of $1 million plus a head, so each person pays an entry fee of $1 million, sometimes maybe more, who knows. And then they can funnel more money into his Bitcoins if they want to money launder, whatever. I mean, it's, a career. So they charge significant fees and could be seen as a form of personal enrichment, you think? And a violation of ethics, most definitely, among others. Insider trading and market manipulation. Allegations of insider trading and market manipulation would be serious concerns if substantiated. However, without specific evidence or investigations, it's difficult to assess the validity of these claims. That is why Democrats are now calling for intense investigations into this matter. Watch this clip with Representative Stansbury, followed by a short clip of Jasmine Crockett.
So, Mr. Chairman, I was wondering if I could just ask you a couple of questions about this bill, since this is your bill. So, I'm trying to understand the purpose of this bill, and I know as you presented the bill, you said that this is really to empower the Trump administration, which you believe is using its authority to try to reform the government. But I see under pages 2 and 3 of your bill that it includes the discretion of the executive branch to eliminate the operations to be determined unnecessary for the execution of constitutional duties. So this means essentially, if I'm understanding it, Mr. Chairman, that if Donald Trump or Elon Musk decided that an agency and its operations was unnecessary, under your bill, they could just eliminate it. Is that correct?
Yes, it requires a vote of Congress.
Yeah, it requires Congress to vote on it.
Mr. Chairman, as I read it, your bill is giving the congressional authority to the executive to do it without Congress.
No, that's not true.
Can you
You're misinterpreting the bill.
Can you please point us to the language in the bill that retains Congress's authority?
It requires a privileged resolution in Congress.
Can you please point us to the page and the line number that requires congressional consent for reorganization of the federal government?
In sections 908 and 909
Of Title V.
of Title V.
Which this bill amends. Which this bill is amending.
Which is
Which this bill is amending. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Section 908 says striking December 31st, 1985. Can you please refer to the language that retains Congress's authority under the United States Constitution to rein in the executive to stop it from eliminating unnecessary duties, reducing federal employees, amending rules and regulations, and eliminating executive departments, agencies, independent establishments, offices, or officers of the executive branch?
If my colleague would yield.
Just let me answer that question. This bill amends Title V, Section 908 and 909.
Which retains congressional rule. Again, Mr. Chairman, can you please point us to the place in your bill where it retains Congress's constitutional authority to rein in the branch?
You're intentionally misrepresenting the bill.
Mr. Chairman, I'm reading the bill, and
No.
I'm asking you as the sponsor to point to us where your bill, which you are trying to pass through this committee today, retains the authority of Congress.
It changes the date to 2026. It amends the date.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just going to read from your bill. I've got 40 seconds here. It allows
The bill amends
executive
current
branch-
law. What you're looking
Chairman,
at,
this
what
is
you're
my
looking
time.
for already exists as law.
Mr. Chairman, your bill, as introduced here, allows the executive to eliminate any executive department, agency, independent establishment, or corporation within the United States, an office or an officer, to essentially repeal, amend any regulation, and to eliminate anything that the executive branch determines to be unnecessary. And I strongly oppose this bill because this is a blank check to Donald Trump and Elon Musk to continue to dismantle the federal government.
Hold on. And just let me say for the final time, the bill amends current law to extend an authority where the president submits to Congress a reorganization plan. So this should be something that we all support. Now, does any other member seek recognition?
Mr. Chairman, our amendments in order now.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
I don't even know where it came from. Oh, Ms. Mace. Chair recognizes Ms. Mace.
Yes, sir. I was just going to emphasize what you were saying earlier, that this bill amends it to renew and extend it through December of 2026. I would appreciate it if members on the other side of the aisle spoke the truth, actually read the bill, understood what it did after reading it. Maybe some reading comprehension perhaps might be needed. And also, the offense that President Trump or Elon Musk get carte blanche authority. Well, it was Presidents Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama have asked Congress to renew presidential reorganization authority. So this is actually bipartisan, but because the orange man is president, it can't be, right? Just because they don't like the president of the United States, it can't possibly be. But this has been a bipartisan effort in the past, in the normal times when people had common sense on both sides of the aisle. So appreciate your leadership and transparency. Mr. Chairman, thank you. I go back.
Very good explanation. Do any other members seek recognition? Do you ask, Ms. Stansbury?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wonder if I might ask the sponsor of the amendment a few questions and engage in a friendly conversation about the background on the amendment. So, Mr. Chairman, Representative Brown, can you tell us a little bit more about why you believe it's necessary to include a list and description of the data that's being accessed by the administration?
In response to the American people and to what we've been hearing in the news, DOJ has been accessing private information, and we don't know to what degree or what length. And when we attempted to subpoena Mr. Musk to clarify the work that they've been doing in this newly created department, we were rejected by our Republican colleagues. I would imagine if they were proud of the work that they were doing, they would allow Mr. Musk to come before this committee to clarify the work that he's doing. So I'm just asking for clarification on behalf of the American people.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Representative Brown. And to my knowledge, I don't believe that Mr. Musk or any member of the administration has actually been in front of this committee to even hear this bill. Is that your understanding, Representative Brown?
That is my understanding.
And yet here we are in a process to pass it without any clarification about why this authority is needed, why these expanded definitions are needed, why they want to have this put into statute, as there are literally over 160 lawsuits in the federal court system that are challenging the legality of what they're doing, including hacking private data of American citizens. And that's exactly what your amendment is about, identifying and protecting. And Representative Brown, as I understand it, just a couple of days ago, in fact, the courts found that the accessing of Social Security data by Elon Musk and DOJ was illegal and unfounded. And we know that millions of Americans out there are frightened right now that their Social Security payments are going to be shut down by Elon Musk. Is that correct?
You can tell from our town halls that is absolutely correct.
Well, it'd be probably useful for our friends across the aisle to actually hold their town halls, because then they would hear from their own constituents about the millions of Americans that are upset about this. But in addition to that, there's been numerous other court orders around data, including one of the very first and highly identified breaches of federal data privacy and security, which was when Elon Musk sent his hackers into the Treasury Department to hack our Treasury payment systems, which, by the way, is not only a violation of privacy, but a violation of the law. But because the U.S. Department of Justice is not pursuing federal cases against administration officials who are breaking the law, the states and nonprofits and individuals are having to go to the courts in order to enforce these laws. So what I find very difficult to understand is how we can be sitting in this committee today hearing a bill that would actually expand the scope of what would be considered for government reorganization, including the wholesale, as Elon Musk likes to put it, deleting of agencies that they find unnecessary, that allows essentially a complete reworking of the federal government. And we still haven't even had the administration in front of this committee yet. They haven't even come here to answer what they're doing to the American people, and our colleagues aren't even listening to the people in their districts. So I strongly support your amendment. I think that the breaches to data, and especially data privacy, and whatever they are doing with this data is one of the most egregious and abusive things that this administration is doing. And I'm grateful that you brought this amendment to defend the American people's rights. And with that, I yield back.
Free speech is not about whatever it is that y'all want somebody to say. And the idea that you want to shut down everybody that is not Fox News is bullshit.
We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. The coddling is for the white boys. That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt who I am? Is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education. This is why they are trying to literally say we won't fund the HBCUs, because they know that if they've already gone after affirmative action and they're saying, you know what, don't allow them to come into, say, these PWIs, as we call them, don't allow them to come into these institutions. We know why they created the HBCUs in the first place. It was because they wouldn't allow us into the white institutions. And so now they're not allowing us in. And now they're saying, you know what, we're also going to defund the HBCUs. You know why? Because they don't want any more Kamala Harrises. They don't want any more Jasmine Crockett's. But I got news for them. I don't care what they do. We will fight to the end to make sure that we get our due. Because again, if you want to talk about the people that shouldn't be in this country, you probably need to look in the mirror, because the last time I checked, the Native Americans who Summer ICE have been rounding up, or the Puerto Ricans who are absolutely Americans, listen, the only people that came and colonized this place are your ancestors, Trump.
Investigations and oversight in the United States, various institutions and mechanisms are in place to investigate potential wrongdoing by government officials or administrations. These include congressional oversight. Congress has the authority to conduct investigations and oversight of the executive branch. Of course, it has, it's the Republicans control everything right now, including Congress, so they would have to enact it or open the investigations. The authority to conduct investigations and oversight of the executive branch. Judicial review. The courts can review executive actions and determine their constitutionality. Independent agencies. Some agencies, like the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, have the authority to investigate specific types of wrongdoing and developments. Some notable cases related to Trump's administration include GFF v. Trump, a class action lawsuit challenging the government's use of the Alien Enemies Act to remove alleged gang members. Abrego Garcia versus Nome, a case involving the deportation of an individual to El Salvador despite a well-grounded fear of persecution. New Hampshire, Indonesian Community Support versus Donald J. Trump, a lawsuit challenging Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. These cases highlight the complex and contentious nature of immigration and executive power in the United States. Cory Booker has been speaking out against the Trump administration, showcasing his commitment to holding those in power accountable. Here are some key points about his record-breaking speech. Booker delivered a marathon speech on the Senate floor that lasted more than 25 hours and 5 minutes, breaking a nearly 7-decade Thurmond record previously held by Senator Strom, ironically, who is a racist, arguing against people like Booker to have rights. But during his speech, Booker criticized Trump's actions, stating that our institutions are being recklessly and unconstitutionally attacked and even shattered. Criticizing Trump's policies, Booker expressed concerns about Trump's crusade to slash large swaths of federal government, citing potential harm to American families. He also criticized Trump's trade war on allies, saying it would increase costs and fears for the American families. Call to action. Booker urged Congress to serve as a check on the president's power, as outlined in the Constitution, and to listen to the voices of their constituents. He emphasized that it's a moral moment for Americans, saying it's not a left or right thing, it's a right or wrong. Media appearances. While specific appearances on Brian Tyler Cohen's show aren't mentioned in the news, Booker's speech and subsequent interviews have garnered attention, highlighting his dedication to speaking truth to power. Booker's efforts have drawn both praise and criticism. Some view him as a leader who's willing to take risks and challenge the status quo, while others have dismissed his actions as grandstanding. Regardless, his commitment to speaking out against policies he believes are unjust or harmful is clear. Kristi Noem, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, has faced criticism for her involvement in immigration raids, where she participated in rounding up undocumented immigrants, particularly one in New York, for deportation. Critics argue that her actions and statements demonstrate a lack of understanding of the complexities surrounding immigration policies. In fact, she's been more of a cosplay propagandist than a DHS secretary, even shooting propaganda videos in El Salvador, and then wants America to think that it's impossible to rescue people she disappeared or assisted with the disappearance of, as well as Marco Rubio and other Trump administration. Watch these two clips.
Ramirez, we're both on Homeland Security together. Kristi Noem should absolutely resign. She has no business being the secretary. She's playing cosplay ICE agent, running around the country, going down to El Salvador, to prisons, holding guns, dressing up. She is a joke. We have people that are scared in this country. They're rounding up students. They are rounding up kids. They want to take children away from parents. This is people that have hate in their heart, that can't see the humanity in migrants. Look, Congressman Ramirez and I both actually came to the U.S. as immigrants. We came here because our families believe that this country can provide us additional support, place to work, a place where we could actually contribute back. And so seeing our country and our values work this way is heartbreaking. And every single member of Congress should be standing up and calling out Kristi Noem and asking her to resign.
Question that since Wisconsin, Elon Musk himself knows
that he is becoming a more toxic brand. I mean, the man can't even go and play video games anymore because the people that he's playing with are all harassing him online. And so he is himself feeling more and more isolated. He's posting less on X. He's distancing himself a little bit more from the administration. And I think that he understands that he's the most unlikable person.
You know it's bad when right-wing extremists like Megyn Kelly's psycho ass, a right-wing extremist herself, is calling her out as well. Seems that opposition is growing along with buyer's remorse. Watch this clip.
She's cosplaying ICE agent, and she, of course, is doing it with like 25 pounds of hair, only to be outdone by her 30 pounds of makeup and false eyelashes. There's no false eyelashes on an ICE raid. Stop trying to glamorize the mission and put yourself in the middle of it as you cosplay ICE agent, which you're not. I can't stand these photo ops, you guys. I think they diminish ICE. They diminish DHS, CPB. She's not an agent. She is an administrative policy person appointed by Trump because she was very loyal to him. Fine. But stop with the glam. I mean, she looks like I look right now, but she's out in the field with her gun being like, we're going to go kick some ass. No one wants you there. She's cosplaying ICE agent.
Some key concerns about Noam's actions include immigration policies. Noam has been instrumental in implementing policies aimed at cracking down this kind of cracking, the bad kind. Cracking down on immigration and humanitarian programs and humanity altogether, which some argue go beyond the intent of U.S. law. A federal judge blocked the Trump administration's decision to strip down deportation protections for Venezuelan immigrants, citing smacks of racism in the characterization of Venezuelan TPS holders. Glamorized appearance. During the New York City immigration raid, Noam's heavily made up, glamorous appearance sparked controversy, with many criticizing her prioritization of aesthetics over the gravity of the situation. She wore a full face of makeup, drag queen style, and including foundation, concealer, lipstick, blush, and fake eyelashes, along with, not that there's anything wrong with that, by the way, but I mean, when you're going on this type of I mean, what are you really doing? Plus, she had her boyfriend there with her, Corey Lewandowski. Oh, man. I can't. Along with a bulletproof vest and a baseball cap. Like, totally. Calls for resignation. Growing demands for Noam's resignation are tied to her handling of immigration policies and perceived overstepping of her authority. Critics argue that her actions demonstrate a disregard for due process and the rights of immigrants, as well as many other Trump officials, by the way. Other officials mentioned, such as Marco Rubio, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, have also faced criticism for their stances on various issues, including constitutional violations, accusations of violating the Constitution, and committing high crimes and misdemeanors have been levied against these officials, sparking debates about their accountability. Insider trading. Allegations of insider trading and corruption within the government have fueled concerns about the integrity of the current administration. The notion of a corrupt government, it's complex and multifaceted with various perspectives on the issue. Some argue that the system is flawed, while others see it as a result of individual actions. Ultimately, the extent to which these allegations impact the government and its officials will depend on ongoing investigations and the democratic process. There is a deep-seated concern about the government overreach and potential violations of constitutional rights. Recent actions by the Trump administration have indeed sparked controversy, particularly regarding executive orders and policies that impact various aspects of American life. Some notable executive orders and actions include executive orders targeting law firms, orders like addressing risks from Sussman Godfrey and addressing risks from Jenner and Block have raised concerns about the administration's approach to law firms and potential opponents. Climate-related policies. The Trump administration has previously ended funding for climate-related programs, such as the $4 million grant to Princeton University, citing misalignment with administration priorities. In fact, they cut funding and resources to anything that said climate in it altogether. That's how psycho they are, including the people that keep us safe from tornadoes and hurricanes. Yeah. Student protests and free speech. While there are concerns about students being targeted for protesting, it's essential to consider multiple perspectives on these issues, as opinions about the administration's actions vary widely. Some view these actions as necessary for national security or economic growth, while others see them as overreaches of power and direct sabotage. If you're concerned about these issues, you may want to stay informed, continuously update yourself on the latest developments and policies, engage in activism, participate in peaceful protests, contact your representatives, and support organizations that align with your views. Seek legal guidance. If you believe your constitutional rights have been violated, consult with a legal professional. The debate around these issues highlights the complexities of governance and the importance of checks and balances in the democratic system and republic. The situation demands immediate attention for action. The time for action is now. We, the people, can no longer stand idly by while our democracy is threatened by dishonest and corrupt actions. The disregard for the Constitution and rule of law is appalling, and it's imperative that we demand accountability, impeachment, and a new election. Given the unprecedented consequences of these actions, we must demand impeachment, hold those responsible accountable for their actions, ensuring that no one is above the law. A new election. Allow the American people to have their voices heard and choose a new leader who will uphold the principles of democracy and the Constitution. Join the movement. Over 250,000 Americans have already urged Congress to begin impeachment proceedings against Mr. Trump, citing multiple abuses of power, high crimes, and misdemeanors. We must continue to build momentum and demand that our representatives take us seriously and take action. Take action today. Contact your representatives and express your concerns. Join organizations advocating for accountability and democracy. Raise awareness about the importance of upholding the Constitution and rule of law. Together, we can make a difference and ensure that our democracy remains strong. I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of this journey. Your engagement and support mean everything to me. If you'd like to support our mission further, please be sure to check out our upcoming merchandise, with partial proceeds going to institutions like the NAACP, the ACLU, and other advocates for democracy. Once again, if I could just ask if you could please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, like this video if you haven't yet, and let me know in the comment box what you think about everything and give me your thoughts. Let me know if you're organizing, if you're planning on protesting. There's another big protest in 1,200 locations around the globe like last time. So again, if you could be sure to share, subscribe, like, follow, join my Facebook community as well. I'll link all my social media. I have a TikTok I'm growing as well, so I'll link all those. And we can help share the message together. As always, be kind to yourselves and be kind to others. Thank you.